How's it going, everyone? My name is Unknown680 and welcome back to another Geometry Dash video. Today, we'll be tackling an iconic insane demon, the Furious by Novel Boy. Now, this level is quite special to me, mainly due to nostalgia. Back before I started YouTube, I vividly remember watching various YouTubers, specifically Eric Van Wilderman and Merg, covering this level back in the good old days of 2.0. I mean, look at what the pre-2.1 dash orbs looked like in this level's infancy. Anywho, I feel I can best describe this level as a great gateway demon between hard and insane difficulties. What I mean by this is that I do indeed recommend this level if you're both interested and also fall into that same difficulty range as I do. Call that a hot take if you will, but the thorough practice runs I've endured have only solidified that opinion for me tenfold. The gameplay of this level is quite challenging for the most part, with narrow spacing, intricate timings, and some unconventional input patterns. Unfortunately, there are also a few bugs I've encountered as well, which I'll bring up in practice. As for the design, it's exactly what you'd expect out of a 2.0 level. I will say that this level's design has aged quite well with the color choice and object placement through and through. I describe it as an initial gray canvas that was colorized in many areas. I do find that the color variety and contrast against the dark gray appeals to the eyes and is quite pleasant to look at. I can't deny that the title of the level does describe the emotions some of you may feel when practicing this level, especially the ending. Don't underestimate it and practice it a lot. Speaking of, it's time to get furious. We start with a simple hold input. Begin holding at the right time so that you jump off the top left corner of this pillar. Jump off the yellow orb late on the right side. Jump, tap the two blue orbs, and jump over the double and triple spikes. It's timed perfectly with the snap in the level, so you really do feel this section's impact. Next, jump up this block so that you'll bounce off the jump pad and buffer click at these two orbs as you need to interact with them at their earliest possible point in order to proceed. Jump off this block and tap off this pink orb as early as possible. Jump over the spikes and hit these next two orbs decently late to give you the momentum you need. Hit this green orb quite early as well. At 7%, you'll find yourself next to this pillar with a flattened spike. You'll need to begin holding such that you jump off the top left corner of the pillar. This works because the width of its hitbox is less than the block itself. This maneuver is quite easier to pull off than what meets the eye. Keep holding this input until you enter the ball. Once you do, tap to change gravity around here and hit this blue orb a little late. From here, just follow the orbs and sight read as shown. It's quite self-explanatory. Hit only the first two yellow orbs in the portals only after entering them, staggering your inputs until the right time. Fly through this ship section as you normally do. You'll need to be able to manage gravity changes and decently tight flying to pass both this section and the later ones. We then come to a rest point where we are greeted by some simple yet pleasant designs that flash before your eyes. Then comes the beginning of the pre-drop. You'll want to tap these two orbs rather quickly, hold off the green orb here so that you jump 2 more times right after. You'll bounce as the ball and tap the green orb. From here, most of your inputs should be very quick taps. Tap to jump off this pillar and tap the black orb. Tap off the ground here just after you completely pass this spike so that you descend briefly. You'll then bounce up. Now be warned, you may encounter a bug where you bounce too high and kind of stick to this ceiling a few times, causing imminent death. It's quite unfortunate. I do hope that it will eventually be patched. For now, I'd say it's best to experiment with how you jump off the platform at this point so that you aim towards bouncing off this yellow pad at an earlier point, if that makes any sense. Anyways, tap this blue orb, drop down, and begin holding off this pillar. You'll notice that you immediately jump off this pillar the moment you land on it, since you barely have the height you need to jump upon touching it. Dash off the orb, then do 4 more quick tap inputs timed like so. Fly straight as the ship, then buffer and input as the icon so that you hit this yellow orb as early as possible. Then jump off the platform here. Tap at the green orb like you normally would, but tap this blue orb quite late and don't hold for too long. Interestingly, the level fades to black before you can see your final input in sections like these. But just trust your judgment and practice the timing so that you can minimize potential deaths by jumping into a spike if you do hold for too long. Now, as the level states, you'll bounce off this yellow orb and transition into a ship portal. Now, there are multiple ways you can go about how you do this first ship input. For instance, if you begin a hold input before you enter the ship portal, you ascend quite slowly and will have to hold entirely until you reach the first green orb. I find that this method takes more energy since you have to rapidly release and begin a new input in a fraction of a second. Instead, I like to wait until I enter the ship portal so that I can fly down as the ship and release early, giving me more time to release and begin a new input. Now, click as you normally would think for these next 4 green orbs. Just get into a rhythm that works best for you. That's all I can say. The same goes for the dual balls right after. Just wait for a few more frames before tapping each time. Do this mini wave section as normal, but be mindful as you transition out of it. You'll bounce up as the icon almost immediately and will need to hit an off-screen green orb. Just be sure to buffer your input here to guarantee you'll hit it. Hit the rest of the green orbs as shown. In this robot section, you'll need to do a series of small robot jumps like shown, then a medium-sized one. You'll then do 2 more small jumps and 1 more medium-sized jump so that you jump in between these 2 spikes and seemingly collide with this wall in a descending state. Or should I say ascending? I don't know, my world gets turned upside down when I think about it too hard. The level quickly fades to white and surprise surprise, you're still alive. At 45%, wait until you enter the UFO portal. Then do tap inputs right after you enter each gravity portal. Despite what I said earlier, I do like to hold off the final gravity portal when transitioning into the ship here. For this next section, simply hold off all of these yellow orbs as shown, timed with the music. Just be sure not to hit them too early or too late. Practice tapping these next 4 blue orbs in the same way so that you interact with these slopes correctly oriented. Do a medium-sized jump as the robot. Tap the blue orb and do another medium-sized jump to reach the yellow orb. Here, you'll want to time these next 3 orbs so that you input around their center point. This should allow you to clear this area consistently. If you notice carefully, once you transition into the ship, your altitude is corrected with an invisible slope, setting you up well for the straight fly section again. I will admit, I feel this section could transition somewhat better due to the camera being off screen for quite some time. Fly decently straight, and you'll soon enter an icon portal. Jump at the right time so that you enter the ball portal at its highest point, and change gravity once more a few frames later. Let yourself roll off the edge here and tap the moment you become a UFO as quickly as possible. I recommend buffering the moment you lose contact with the ground to guarantee that you will do this input correctly. Then comes the second breakpoint. By this point, players would, of course, be bracing for what's to come, as the final parts of this level are indeed the hardest. You'll eventually bounce up into this ship section and will need to be able to handle the tight space. There's not much more to say here. The only tip I can give comes from these first 2 portals in which you begin a hold input just after you enter both of them, similar to cycles. Jump over the triple and in comes the last drop. You start as a wave and will need to follow the path shown. Again, here there's not much to talk about, just practice. What comes at 76%, in my opinion, probably the most volatile part of the whole level. You find yourself in a dual wave and will need to enter this mini portal in quite an awkward way. Essentially, you need to release your input just as you enter it, then rapidly execute another input right after. It's essentially quick mini wave spam. Weave your way through as the mini wave here, and continue spamming even after the transition fades to white, just to be safe. Don't worry, you'll see when it's safe to stop well before you get yourself into any real danger. Thankfully, the level does recorrect you once you enter the UFO. Now, the way you're intended to complete this section is to tap twice in a steady pattern after using the pink jump pad and hit the green orb, which does work most of the time and you can get consistent at it. However, after doing more practice, I realized that it might actually be easier for you to just flap right as you're just above this spike here, then flap one more time at this point. Either way, you should aim for these 3 pink orbs. Tap them, tap at the portal, tap at the remaining orbs, tap twice in this pink row of orbs, etc, etc. Your end goal should be to tap at this yellow orb at its lowest point, as you need the minimum height possible going into the next section. You'll want to hit each of these 3 orbs in rapid succession, timing the green orb so that you can jump off the ceiling quite early. If you gain too much height, you don't change gravity fast enough and end up crashing into these spikes. Dash here and hold off the ground here, tapping the orbs. We're then brought to by far the most confusing part of the entire level, a dual icon section where the icons are thrown every which way. Fear not though, I've pretty much mastered the input sequence, which I will explain to you now. To start, you need to buffer your first input at any point past this green orb. By doing so, one of the icons will interact with the green orb right away. Next, release and hold once an icon comes into contact with this first pink orb. Keep holding until the next one. Quickly release and begin a new input when an icon approaches it. Hold from here until just before you reach the yellow orb. Begin another hold input and keep holding until just before you reach the green orb. Begin another hold input from here right after you release, but keep on holding down throughout the transition into the final ship. By doing so, you'll begin to see the ship ascending as the flash fades away, and you'll be able to release and continue on safely. If you have no clue what I've just said for that entire input sequence, don't worry, it really just should look a little something like this. Upon entering the final ship, straight fly and tap the yellow orb. Trust that the level will carry you back to your current elevation and begin holding around there. I would say that the final part that is likely to be a nuisance are these two green orbs right here. Be sure to practice this section and align your timings carefully, preferably to the music if you can, as it may be of help to you. From there, it's a matter of flying through a few more gravity portals until the end. Make sure that your ship is level upon entering this last blue portal and to begin a hold input right after you enter it to guarantee that you'll fly up and pass through the icon portal safely, not crashing onto the bottom or top spikes here. And that's the practice run. At the time of me recording this, I haven't beaten this level quite yet. Sometimes I do these practice run recordings before I actually beat the level, and sometimes after. Despite this being my first insane, I don't think I'll experience that many problems with this level, since I've been one to over-practice, make sure I truly master levels like these, and prevent as many late percentage deaths as possible. With all that being said though, let's see how much fury I can muster up in some of these normal attempts, shall we?
I'm currently playing crappy Stalemate Redux. Just decided to play some crappy levels just because kind of why not? They're kind of fun to play, so.
Yeah, especially, like, I played crappy Orochi. It was actually legitimately so fun to play, I don't know why.
But yeah, this Stalemate Redux is honestly like mid to high hard demon in difficulty for me, personally. This level's actually very difficult.
I can't tap too high on that yellow orb. I honestly feel that upon upgrading into my PC, I feel I haven't had, maybe it's because I haven't played the game all that much, but I do feel I am more capable of beating harder levels now. I feel, just naturally, I feel like my skill in the game has just increased quite a lot. Probably is because of the hardware, and just I feel a lot more confident.
Hey, Unknown, have you ever thought about trying some of the crappy levels?
Not out of the realm of possibility.
Because, okay, the weird thing is that you wouldn't think that levels titled crappy would be
I 100% would. I 100% would, from what I've seen.
I guess someone who's watching my screen share can give notice.
I ran into that bug where I got stuck into the ceiling. I had to re-edit videos twice since my file got corrupted. Ouch!
Oof.
I know that feeling. I was having a decent amount of issues myself today. Story time for some technological issues I've been having. So let's see, I basically had quite a bit of a frustrating day, well, it got off to a late start as well, since, on Sundays, me and my family like to have late breakfasts. So, at the very beginning, I was trying to figure out why my editing software, wasn't working. I eventually, it's a long story where, basically, the editing software would be stuck on one page and the program would just hang. Then I basically kept on trying to, just find, ways to open it. I basically uninstalled and reinstalled the program a bunch of times. I made sure to back up all my files and all that. Thankfully, I didn't lose anything major. Eventually, I figured out that what I needed to do was, first of all, disable a setting called Hyper Virtualization. I'm sure some of you may have heard of it. It's basically a setting you can check in Windows settings. You have to dig a little deep to find it, but it basically allows you to run virtual machines in a more optimized way, I believe. I had that setting on for the longest time, so I had to turn that off, and then finally the editor started to load, but it didn't take forever to load. But the problem is, after that, my editing software actually wouldn't start playing videos. So after an hour or two more of investigating, I figured out I actually needed to switch my graphics drivers from game-ready drivers to studio drivers. And that took another bit of time. on top of that, my family was having some issues we basically have a family laptop, and unfortunately, I don't know what type of issues it's giving. First of all, I can't even install updates properly. The moment I go to download a Windows update, it just gives a download error code. It doesn't go anywhere past 0%. I was trying to investigate how to solve that for days, to no luck. I tried everything. I've inputted so many commands into the command prompt. As an administrator, by the way, I tried restarting my computer a bunch of times, booting it into safe mode, clearing files, changing settings. Nothing's been working there, and it still hasn't to this day. And another thing my family would like me to do is try to figure out how to reinstall Microsoft Office. But the problem is that's been a pain, because there's basically another level of hurt when you wait so long for something to load, nothing happens, and at the end an error code appears. That's pretty much, unfortunately, been a decent chunk of my day, and in addition to me waking up, well, not waking up, but having breakfast late, that does take a lot of time out of your day, for sure.
Yeah, no, how'd you like the little unknown heart I sent you in DMs?
I appreciate it, It's pretty much, it's just my icon, but outlined in the shape of a heart. I genuinely do feel, if I were to have an unknown heart emote, I feel I would like to have it a little more refined, but I do appreciate the gesture. I really do. I really do.
I was just having fun that day. Let's just make stuff.
Let's just make stuff. There's nothing wrong with making stuff. There we go. As far as I've gotten. Alright, first time at the end parts of the level. Let's see how far we get let's see how far we get, shall we? Let's go. Thanks for the follow. Alright, not far at all. That's okay. We're in this for the long run, I see. Imagine if he flukes it. Nah, that didn't happen. There we go. Back to the drop again. Wish me luck.
Nice.
We salute, and we sign off. Ooh, 95!
Oh god!
95! Wow, it's the final two green orbs. Oh wow. My heart got racing a little there.
Junie had that fail as well.
Yeah, I kind of figured I'd get there. I was getting a little nervous. I really was.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
but it was only my second time getting there this stream, so.
With every single demon.
If it's about to flex on you guys. I fluked the Furious from the UFO. I did not die at the final wave. I did not die at the final ship at all.
I'm very happy to see that after so long of trying to set a good example for people, I feel I have touched enough lives to the point where that is where I guess you could say my goal is to empower a new generation of positive, optimistic people who are there for each other and first of all, know how to behave and online etiquette and all that, but also know how to set a good example for others to follow. And I feel seeing all of you coming around here, seeing all of you continuously wanting to hang out with me and just be around me, I feel I have touched all of your lives in some way, and that I have been able to bring forth a new generation. It's a 3-year, I don't know how much of a gap it could possibly be in age, but I feel I am inspiring a new generation of awesome people. And positive community thinkers who welcome each other and make this community all the more better. So for that, I appreciate all of you. I really do. We really, really need more good examples. And I'm sure you've heard this a bunch of times, now more than ever. But it's true. We need to set good examples and be the change that the community wants to see. We have to do it ourselves.
Yeah, thank you, dude. I got 86.
Awesome. I'm glad I was able to for the short time that I did, I am glad I was able to help contribute and make a difference for you in your life. That's has been and always will be my goal as a content. As a I don't know, pseudo wannabe content creator, I really do appreciate it. Watch
Hopefully.
this. Let's go. How about let's know?
Alright, let's go. Tap 5 seconds later.
Let's know.
Never mind.
Let's know.
I
Okay, for me it's a
my
let's.
statement.
For me it's a let's go though. Yeah, same. I
Because
would probably
again, I've mentioned several times, but I legitimately didn't know who you were when I rated you. I literally just saw, oh, first Twitch stream, yeah, let's give him a warm welcome. I had no idea you had anything to do with Juniper. I had no idea you were making the minimum input series of time, or that you're in SMBX or anything like that. I just saw you, didn't know who you were, and I was like, you know what, let's just rate him. It's kind of weird how relationships can start out like that, from just. A
Oh
simple,
yeah. Oh yes. They can start in the most unlikely of ways. I really think about that a lot. There's someone who I feel you'd perfectly be in sync with, but unfortunately, it would be very like if that one special event doesn't happen, people will never those people may never meet. I will say the presence of the internet, as much as everyone likes to dump on, oh, the internet's so bad, the platform's so toxic and all that. The internet has definitely helped bridge probably countless. I don't even care that I just died. I'm really passionate about what I'm saying right now. The internet basically narrowed that gap and bridged a lot more than what people give credit for. All that gets the attention is just being so divided, and basically just negativity dominates. But we fail to realize how much good the internet has done as well. We really need to take that into account. Obviously, I'm
thinking about it more good than bad.
More good than bad, but the bad gets all the attention. And I'm not saying I'm not saying the bad shouldn't get attention. There are indeed problems that do need to be addressed, and we can't just ignore them.
Yeah, I might be doing like computer science.
Computer science, huh? You're talking to a fellow computer science major here, friend.
Oh, I know I am. Like what did you look for? Python or Java?
I did Python. I did Python first semester. I'm doing Java this semester. Although I do have some Java experience because I did actually do Java in grade 12 as well.
I had a computer science class, which just is very fun. Programming, like
oh yes,
it's
rewarding.
It's just very fun in general. Very fun. And the teacher was very nice. He was
that's very
nice.
important. That is absolutely that is very important.
Oh,
yeah, another thing that impacts whether or not you have a good time in your class is if the teacher is passionate about what they're teaching.
Yeah,
If
that
your
makes
teachers
or
don't
breaks
pay for a
everything.
paycheck, then like it's gonna be boring because they're not, putting their everything into it. They're just gonna be like, oh guys, okay, so today you have to fill out this worksheet. You're like,
that was literally my chemistry teacher in sophomore year.
but if they're legitimately, into what they're teaching, then
Like I said before, I had my history teacher in sophomore year, and this year, he is like the best teacher you will ever have. He's strict, but also like very like cool, and like he tells like a lot of stories that we don't even take notes. Like, so we're doing the Holocaust. We didn't even take notes for the first 2 classes. No classes for 15 minutes. He was just talking about like random stuff, and it was like very like intriguing to listen. It's just very cool stories. To be like back then or like now, present time. He's just a very cool, laid-back teacher. I really like him.
That's awesome to hear. That is very awesome to hear. Nope. UFO.
Really far.
Really?
Really far.
Okay,
Wow!
You should have def in. Why didn't you def in?
I can't.
Ah,
It's like there's literally no part.
Oh.
and little clarification: there will be no swearing for now because Unknown's here and he's streaming as well.
yeah.
I did mention in a community thread before that I'm not going to be moderating solely swear words like I used to, but like I know I can't control like that.
Crap nuggets.
Oi.
All right, Jordan.
It's like,
I completely retract that statement, Jordan. I'm immeasurably disappointed in you.
No.
Yeah, Jordan.
God.
Watch the language, eh?
just if you say whether if it's out of like out of pure reaction, is that fine?
Yeah.
Well, we might be about to have a big one right now. Let's see. Nope, hit the blue orb. Hit the blue orb too early. Hit the blue orb too early. No.
Rip.
Okay, we're getting
Yeah,
there
this is.
now. Nope. Bad shit flying.
I love how Midnight said guess how many times I dropped the level, and then the next thing I hear is nope.
Oh wow, okay, I clicked. I clicked too early. It's a green orb. No. No.
F in the chat. F in the chat.
Yep, F's in the chat. I'll permit it for about 30 seconds. F's in the chat.
Can we get
Alright.
that?
Second to last spot. That was the second to last spot.
I gotta
to
stop.
die.
Yo,
Gotta
can we
stop
get
for a
that
sec.
in the chat?
Here we go.
I think
Alright, we got the cat gems. Here we go. Instead of saying go, let's get some cat gems in the chat, folks. I feel it. This is the one. Let's go! That was too high!
Yeah.
That was too high!
And
That
it's
was
got-
too high! That was too high.
quick.
Kinda felt that.
No,
I positioned myself a
unknown.
little too high. I didn't hold for long enough!
What did it die?
I
What did it
didn't
die?
hold-
What did it die? What did it die? What did it
I
die?
basically, I
92?
held for a little less amount of time than I should have.
Dang.
92%. Dang.
Oh, just keep in mind, for the when we say go, at the final part, I want to see a wall of cat jams.
Alright!
I might regret that though, because I might just burst out of laughter and lose concentration if I just see a bunch of cat jams.
Want to refrain from that, you know.
I'm gonna have to do the same copy pasta.
You can do the thumbnail out of that.
You can have that as a thumbnail, yeah.
Far.
Cat jams. There's something so majestic about cat jams.
I've been
I didn't
practicing
tap
this.
there again.
I mean, I
I don't
admire
know what's
your
going on there.
perseverance
I really
through
don't.
this.
It's all preparation for crappy bloodlust, which is like high insane demon in difficulty, like mid to high insane demon,
Wow, crappy bloodlust, really?
by the same person as well.
I'm gonna have such a bad time.
I'm far.
Let's go! Yes! Yes! He did it! He did it!
Did it.
Congrats!
You
Wow.
were getting consistent. I knew that was the end.
Now me. Let's go me. Let's go. Let's go. Dude.
Can we do a trifecta?
Whoa.
Go, go, go,
Wait,
go,
it's
go.
gonna be more. It's gonna be more like than me than unknown.
Alright, so lots riding on this one. Let's do it. And ignites.
What?
victory
What?
ever!
You beat the Furious? I didn't know
I beat it!
Dude!
Yes!
Same attempt!
That was the best possible
Yes,
outcome!
Yes!
Yes!
Yo, attempt!
Same attempt! Same attempt! Same attempt!
I tried.
Same attempt!
You beat them
Yes!
very quickly. You beat them
Wait,
very
guys.
quickly.
Only took me
Guys,
an
I am
hour.
now going to beat you.
Alright, chill with the spam, guys, but congrats!
Yeah, okay.
Yes!
Okay.
Alright.
Yes!
Okay, get ready for my reaction. Because let's go on the creeper.
Guys, I beat it!
Yes!
Let's go, I beat it!
Yes! Yes! I have beaten my first insane demon!
Jay, freaking Jay, what the hell?
I clapped my hands a little too hard. They're kind of red. But it was worth it! Yes!
Let's go.
Ah!
Oh no, you
What a
both of
time.
You guys, you popped off, both of you.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm watching back the stream after.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, it's gonna be.
Yeah, and I
Oh, it's
just
gonna be a
beat
glorious.
Cellmate
Oh, it's
Redux
going to
right
be a
now.
glorious
Let's
video as
go.
well. This was awesome. It was really, really awesome. My total attempt count is 3,931. Honestly, while I was doing my practice runs,
39, pretty
whoa,
cool.
Thanks,
Whoa,
Larry.
that was nice, pretty cool.
Yay, thank you. 30. Okay, so 3,931 attempts. I think just a day or two ago I had a little over 3,000, so I think I pumped up out 600 attempts in
Okay.
the past few days.
Okay, I'm actually kind of mad because you beat your insane demon. I beat my first insane demon like over, I think, 5,000. So I'm pretty kind of that you beat yours very quickly.
I
I felt ready for this, in all honesty.
But good job, man.
technically
Thank you.
I've already beaten an insane demon difficulty wise, but like I haven't beaten an actual insane demon yet. So unknown, GG.
Thank you all. Thank you all incredibly. So
Hey,
so
Peter,
much.
What are your
We both got a good achievement today.
what are your
I didn't
attempts?
even
Oh, right.
notice you were getting
Let's
I
add a
am watching
comment.
back that stream after this. I'm watching back that stream.
All right.
What is that attempt? How many attempts do you have, King Cooper?
520.
Ooh,
Oh,
I might.
okay.
Actually, no.
Okay,
Give me a moment. I do have a copyable as well. I practiced this a little bit to practice the end. This copyable has 90. So let's calculate. 90 plus 3,931. So it's, yeah.
Good job.
After
Oh, I'm so glad I was here for this.
4,021
Same.
attempts, I can officially say I conquered this as my first insane. Wait, let me reword this
Now-
actually.
now-
Wait, are you doing
All right,
crappy
that
legends
is
at
it.
the level?
That is it. We did it. Ah, we've done it. The Furious by Novel Boy. Definitely agree with the low-end insane rating. This is definitely, I feel, a really, really solid low-level insane demon. Like I said before, it's the perfect transitional demon from hard to insane. Also, I'd like to mention, in all honesty, I never saw myself getting to this point in my Geometry Dash career. I remember at the beginning of the video, I briefly talked about how I love to watch people play this level, and I thought, I don't think I'll ever get there. This seems a little too far out of my reach. Not impossible by any means, but I thought it was definitely something that was way out of reach for me at the time. I thought that demons this difficult were something I would never even amount to achieving at all. So the fact that I did it in slightly over 4,000 attempts is absolutely mind-blowing. I guess for me upgrading my hardware, it really does a whole lot more. But of course, nothing replaces skill, dedication, persistence, and not commonly talked about, patience. It's very important to have patience with these types of levels. I'm still all the same, grateful to have beaten it. I can indeed vouch that if you are a player who wants to improve your skill, I highly recommend giving this level a try if you feel like you're up for it. You most likely will come out of this level enjoying the experience at least to some degree, or at the very least finding yourself performing better as a player. I wholeheartedly believe that this level will improve you as a player, and I would highly recommend it. Though this level might not be everyone's cup of tea, depending on where you are in your skill or your taste, I can't see many people having that many regrets upon completing it. you'll most likely be leaving this level with at least somewhat satisfied after completion. And that's pretty much it. Thank you all so much for watching, and as always, stay safe, much love, and peace out.